Hi, welcome to MathHack. Today we are going to talk about deriving the quadratic formula. The standard form of a quadratic equation is given by ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. We are going to use the completing the square method to derive the quadratic formula. From the standard form of a quadratic equation, we want to isolate the constant term from the rest of the terms. So we will have ax squared plus bx equals negative c. Then I'm going to divide all the terms by a, and we shall have ax squared over a plus bx over a equals negative c over a. Since a divided by a is equal to 1, we shall have ax squared plus b over a x equals negative c over a. Then I will need to make the left hand side a perfect square trinomial. I will take this numerical coefficient here and divide it by 2, and we'll have b over a divided by 2 is equal to b over 2a. Then I'm going to square this 1, so we have b over 2a raised to the power of 2. That should be equal to b squared over 4a squared. I'm going to add b squared over 4a squared on both sides of the equation, and we have x squared plus b over ax plus b squared over 4a squared equals negative c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. That should be followed by expressing this left hand side to a square of a binomial. So we have x plus b over 2a squared equals, let me just write the right hand side, then I'm going to simplify the right hand side by multiplying this by 4a, so we'll have a common denominator. So 4a times c is negative 4ac over 4a times a is 4a squared plus b squared over 4a squared. The next step will be getting the square root of both sides. Let me just write the square root of quantity x plus b over 2a raised to the power of 2 equals the square root of negative 4ac plus b squared over 4a squared. The square root of this part here will just be x plus b over 2a. So we have x plus b over 2a equals, okay, so that will be positive and negative. The square root of the numerator will be the same. So we have the square root of negative 4ac plus b squared, while the square root of the denominator will be 2a. Alright. Then we're going to subtract b over 2a from both sides, so we'll get to isolate x on the left hand side of the equation. So we have x is equal to negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of negative 4ac plus b squared over 2a. Since we have a common denominator, we can just write it simply as negative b plus or minus the square root of, I'm just going to write b squared first, okay? So b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, and this is the quadratic formula. Okay, that's how you derive it from the standard form of a quadratic equation.